So there's a question about cut lines in the Left 4 Dead series. Every game I've ever worked on, we have cut lines. And that happens because when I originally start writing, I'm not writing at the finished game. I'm writing often, sometimes before maps are made. Sometimes I'm writing while maps are being made. And sometimes we make changes. Sometimes we're like, hey, maybe this will work if the character calls this out here. Or, explains a little bit of how to use something or do something. And then sometimes it still doesn't work, so we cut it. A lot of times it's that. Often we also try jokes or we try just kind of conversational stuff, and it just doesn't work. There's a lot of lines actually cut, not a lot, but some lines cut from the Left 4 Dead series where I just didn't think they worked. And then the modders, when they did the recent update, put a lot back in, and Carrie just said, whatever, we'll just put them in. And I think it lessens the impact of the characters because not all of them fit those characters. Often, especially in the first session, I probably am trying 3 different characters when we go into a recording session, right? So there's hey, this character is going to go this way, or maybe they're going to go this way, or they're going to be really out there this way. You kind of find the character in that first session by having them read a lot of that stuff. And so with that, you end up with some lines that you'll never use because it doesn't fit the character that you decided on, right? Because this is the first time you're recording them, and somebody's who you're going to come back to in the Left 4 Dead series where we record often. You want to find that character with the person. You want to just impose it on them. And so you find that character with them. So that first session's always some experimentation of finding that. And then some of those lines you cut because they just don't work. And again, some of the maps just get cut and don't work. And then sometimes, especially for the Left 4 Dead series, we had extra time. We actually recorded lines specifically for modders. So you hear about mountains and snow and stuff like that. But it is a weird kind of thing that, not saying this question is set that way, but it's this weird thing of the community, I shouldn't say the community, very specific people in fandom have this sense of ownership over things once they get out there, where they're acting like I did something negative or I purposely did something to be negative to them by cutting lines. And nothing further from the truth. Why would I do that? What would I gain from that? It makes no sense. But it's often why I don't like to talk about this stuff, especially Left 4 Dead 1, where there is a community that is just hardcore rabid about it in an unhealthy way, about telling me what the game was like when I was working on it. And I'm like, yeah, no, it was not like that. And so it's weird. So yeah, that's why those lines are there. That happens. Enjoy them, use them in your mods, whatever you want, or don't, and back them back out of the update. Because again, I think they lessen some of the character focus, but that's fine. It's fine. I mean, at that point, Left 4 Dead 2 in particular is a game that is kind of owned by the community more than the people who made it at this point, and as it continues on. And the Anacrusis, there's lines there that we aren't using as well. Some of it is like, we used to have this thing where you threw out a respawner to respawn versus just pressing a button, and we cut that because you could throw it in weird spots, and so it became problematic. Well, so we have a bunch of lines about that. Like, that's how that happens. And again, it's nothing antagonistic. It's nothing like, I don't know where it's this weird thing where the developers are trying to do get bad by cutting lines. But it's just we're trying to make the best possible game, and sometimes that means pulling some stuff back or just making sure the lines work. And it's kind of in a weird spot right now because right now in the Anacrusis, I'm going back through and seeing the lines. We have about 900 lines we don't use. We paid for all of them. We paid for the actor's time as well as for the cutting of the audio and everything else. So I'd like to see how they could work, but some of them don't work. And I put some of them in recently just to kind of test them out. Some don't work. Some just feel sometimes too on the nose or whatever. So again, it's always you're trying to find the character.